Hey everybody, welcome. So today I'm going to be doing what I said I was going to be doing yesterday, which is an Invincible comic book review. Yesterday I put this as my number one favorite comic book. It took me about 2 weeks to read through all of this. It's heavy. It's like 30 pounds book. But yeah, it took me a long time to read this. It was 15 years of work that I read in 2 weeks, which is a little ludicrous. It's just crazy. I thought I was going to start off this review by talking about some of the talking about the authors and the artists of this comic book. All of this comic book was written by Robert Kirkman, and alongside juggling the Invincible comic book series, he was writing the Walking Dead comic book series, which everybody is talking about how good the Walking Dead is. I've never seen a TV show, never read the comic, so it's got a very, very big cult following. This guy is very, very famous now. He even has his own Robot Chicken episode, which that's a big feat for somebody to be in Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken is funny. I like Robot Chicken. It's either a love or hate kind of thing with Robot Chicken. The first comic book he created was Battle Pope. Name explains itself pretty well, but it was a parody of comic books that were coming out at the same time, and it's pretty funny. The next comic book he came out was Tech Jacket, which is pretty cool. It's about a guy who has a jetpack, basically, that can do anything. It can cover him in armor, all that kind of stuff, and it's alright. We see his failed comic book, Science Dog, many times throughout Invincible as basically a nod to him, and it's very cool. We see Science Dog like that. Mark, Invincible, is always reading Science Dog comics, so I think it's cool that they can look back on that. He is the only partner of Image that is not a co-founder of Image. Robert Kirkman has done so much for Image. Invincible and The Walking Dead are Image's are one of Image's biggest series. Other than like Spawn and pretty much just Spawn. But yeah, he co-created Invincible with Cory Walker. His art for the first 7 issues was pretty alright, very messy, primitive, but it did the job. But after the 7th issue, he just wasn't able to finish the art in enough time, so he had to be replaced, but he just couldn't keep up. And Cory Walker, he did the TV show. He made the models for the TV show, and the TV show's models aren't that good. I'd rather have Ryan Otley do it, which is the guy who replaced him. But they work. You still do well with them in the TV show. Ryan Otley was the guy who replaced Cory Walker, and he did pretty much the rest. He was replaced after issue 8, and he did 127 issues without Cory Walker. The comic book series ended at 144, so Cory Walker, he came in and did some backup work when Ryan Otley just was doing something and he couldn't do the art for Robert Kirkman. He is a very good artist. I love his art in here. It just gets better and better. We can see that it definitely mimics Cory Walker's art for a little while, and then Ryan Otley kind of inches into his own style, his own little notch in the wood, and it's fantastic. Especially later in Compendium 1 and the rest of Compendium 2 and 3, we really see Ryan Otley dominate over most comic book creators now. He does great. Comic book art has really just fallen off the past 20 years. I don't know what it is. Is it the rise of digital art? I don't know. But I prefer physical hand-drawn art with a pencil over digital drawn art. But that's a gripe that cannot be fixed. It's just so much more convenient to be doing digital art, and if you do it right, it can be very good, like Ryan Otley does. Invincible is about Mark Grayson getting his powers from his father, Omni-Man, or Nolan Grayson. Omni-Man is an awesome character. He's so cool. If you've seen the TV show, that ends off in the first story arc. The first story arc is so good. So are all the other ones. I wouldn't even call it a story arc. It's just the start of the story, pretty much. And then it tells a story start from finish, which I like. You don't have any of the dumb, like, this part's not canon or anything else. This book has a lot of dimension hopping, which I usually do not like, but they do it very well in this. They keep it very straightforward and all that stuff. Mark Grayson has a girlfriend, which is totally different in the TV show. She's a lot, I wouldn't say better in the comic book, but she's a lot more understanding of Mark in the comic book. Much funnier in the comic book. And yeah, I see why they made the changes for the TV show. I'm pretty sure most people do see why they made the changes in the TV show over Amber in the comic. But she does well. But Mark ends up breaking up with her, and I'll talk about that more later in the spoiler section. But this is a great comic book. It can be enjoyed by most people. And comic books nowadays, and pretty much since comic books came out, haven't been represented as much as they should be. I like them just as much as regular novels. I read both of them often. But I love comic books. They belong with novels. They tell good stories, sometimes better stories, and yes, I would pick this up. It's beautiful, it's gory, it tells a great story, has good twists, very unexpected things happen in this comic book. I would pick this up if you have some time on your hands. Now let's get into the spoiler section. This book is amazing. Where Ryan Otley really shines is in the battlefield. He does emotional scenes very well, but I think where he shines the best is definitely in his battle scenes. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. Beautiful. You don't see this very much, but in nowadays in comic books, just beautiful art in the battle scenes, and you can really feel for the characters during the emotional scenes also. So Ryan does great with that. my two main gripes with this comic book is it's hard to do everything correctly, and this comic book does as much correctly and way more than most comic books have ever done correctly. But I'd say there are two main issues I have with this comic book, and they both involve, it's not some big issue, it's just some small issues. One is a smaller issue, one is a bigger issue. In the storytelling, they're just forgotten. Mark's mother was an alcoholic after the first story arc when Nolan Grayson just beat the heck out of Invincible after he tells him that he is not the protector of Earth. He's getting it ready for conquering of the Viltrumite army. And it is just a beautiful scene, but after that, Mark's mother becomes an alcoholic. And it's just, she stops, like, in the second compendium, near issue 90, 95. She just stops, and we don't see anything else. It doesn't get talked about. We don't see her drinking anymore, so I'm guessing she's not an alcoholic anymore. But I mean, like, what? It's just gone. It doesn't get talked about once in the comic book. My biggest issue with this comic book is it's more of a morals thingy. Mark had to go to space for a long time, and his girlfriend just didn't know how to tell him Adam Eve, which is who he got with after he broke up with Amber. And Adam Eve got pregnant, and Mark just left. He left the Earth. He had to go to space with Omni-Man to eradicate some threats. But Adam Eve never told him. So he comes back, and then there is 3 pages where they talk about this. 3 pages in the entire comic book, where Adam Eve tells him that she got an abortion. And you would think that since he's still in his phase where everybody needs to live. If one person dies to save 100 people, he's going to try his hardest to not kill the one person and save the 100 people. So Mark just says okay, and then it's not talked about one more time in the entire comic book series. So that is my main problem with this comic book series. Those are small problems compared to other problems that I have with other comic books, but it is a great comic book. I would pick this up if you are feeling like you have some time on your hands and you want to read a good story. I'd pick up Invincible. It ended in 2017. Congratulations on Invincible's Amazon Prime TV series. That is a great TV series. It follows pretty well with the comic book. I still prefer the comic book storyline over the TV show. It takes part in the first 13 issues out of the 144 issues. So it just got announced for season 2 and it's season 3. So if you're waiting on that, don't read the comic books. Big spoilers in here probably. And pick up the comic book, watch the show. They're both good. This comic is beautifully drawn, has a great storyline, does battle scenes really well, does emotional scenes really well, just does everything well. Hope I changed your mind on this or help you form an opinion on this comic book. Pick this up for yourself and read it, and tell me how you liked it. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.